My beloved, before you question whether you deserve to hear these words, before your mind tries to dismiss them, before doubt interrupts your heart, let me say this clearly and slowly. I am proud of you. Not for what you achieved, not for what others saw, not for what can be measured or displayed. I am proud of you for what you endured. When no one was applauding, when no one was reassuring, when no one truly knew how heavy life felt inside you, you do not realize how many times you could have given up but didn't. How many times you held yourself together with nothing but inner strength. How many times you chose to keep going, even when you had no idea where going would lead. That kind of courage is quiet, and quiet courage is the rarest kind, my beloved. There were days when simply waking up felt like an act of bravery. Days when your heart felt tired before the day even began. Days when the world expected you to function, while your inner world was asking for rest, and still you showed up. You fulfilled responsibilities. You carried expectations. You met obligations that never asked how you were doing. That matters more than you know. I am proud of you for the strength you built without choosing bitterness. You could have hardened your heart. You could have closed yourself off. You could have become resentful. But you didn't. You became wiser instead. And wisdom born from pain is the kind that protects your future. My beloved, you were tested in ways that forced you to grow inwardly. Not the kind of growth that feels exciting, the kind that feels lonely. You learned how to sit with uncertainty, how to hold unanswered questions, how to accept pauses without panicking. That patience reshaped you. I am proud of you for learning when to let go even when your heart wanted to hold on, for recognizing when something was draining you, even though you hoped it would change, for choosing self-respect over familiarity. That decision was not easy. It required honesty. My beloved, there were moments you doubted yourself deeply. You questioned your worth, your choices, your timing. You wondered if you were doing something wrong because progress felt slow, and clarity felt distant. But listen to me now. Slow progress is still progress. Silent growth is still growth. And you were growing in ways no one could see yet. I am proud of you for not becoming smaller to be accepted, for not abandoning your values to feel chosen, for not betraying your inner truth just to avoid discomfort. That restraint saved you from repeating cycles that would have cost you years. My beloved, you learned how to protect your energy. You stopped giving endlessly without receiving understanding. You stopped explaining yourself to people who never truly listened. You stopped carrying responsibility for emotions that were never yours to manage. Those boundaries did not make you cold. They made you safe. I am proud of you for surviving days that drained you without letting them define you, for feeling sadness without surrendering to despair, for feeling tired without giving up on yourself, for feeling lost without stopping the journey. That resilience is now part of who you are. My beloved, you may still feel like you haven't done enough, like you should be further ahead, like others are moving faster, but you do not see what I see. I see how much inner work you have done. I see how many old versions of you had to be released. I see how many lessons were learned the hard way. And I know you could not have rushed this process. I am proud of you for choosing growth even when growth demanded discomfort, for choosing truth even when truth meant letting go, for choosing peace even when peace required distance. These choices are shaping your future quietly. My beloved, you may not feel strong every day. Strength does not always feel like confidence. Sometimes strength feels like staying present. When everything inside you wants to escape and you stayed again and again. I am proud of you for learning how to forgive without forgetting your worth. For releasing resentment without reopening wounds. For understanding that closure does not always come through answers, but through acceptance. That understanding freed you. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are steadier now, more discerning, more grounded. You do not chase what drains you anymore. You do not ignore discomfort just to keep peace. You listen to yourself now. That self-trust is one of the greatest gifts you earned. My beloved, there were moments when you felt unseen, moments when your effort felt unnoticed, moments when your endurance felt unrecognized. Let me say this clearly. Nothing you did went unnoticed by me. Every silent battle mattered. Every choice to keep going counted. I am proud of you. Not because you never fell apart, but because you learned how to gather yourself again and again. That ability will carry you through what comes next. You are entering a new phase now. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you are no longer the same person. You carry wisdom where confusion once lived. You carry patience where urgency once ruled. You carry clarity where doubt once lingered. My beloved, do not minimize what you survived. Do not rush past your growth. Do not measure your worth by what others see. I see you fully and I am proud of you, my beloved. Now, let me speak to you about the part of your journey that even you struggled to acknowledge. The part where you kept going without feeling inspired. The part where you were not chasing dreams, only stability. The part where you were not asking for miracles, only enough strength to get through the day. That season mattered because survival without losing your integrity is not ordinary. It is sacred. I am proud of you for staying honest with yourself when pretending would have been easier. You admitted when something no longer felt right. You admitted when you were tired. You admitted when you needed distance to protect your peace. Those admissions required courage. And courage does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like quiet withdrawal from what no longer nourishes you, my beloved. You learned how to listen inwardly this year. Earlier you looked outward for validation, for reassurance, for approval. Now you pause before reacting. You check in with your heart. You notice when something feels heavy instead of ignoring it. That awareness is a form of wisdom. And wisdom always arrives after endurance. I am proud of you for choosing to slow down instead of burning yourself out to keep up. For realizing that constant urgency was costing you peace. For understanding that your worth does not depend on constant productivity. That realization will save you from many unnecessary battles ahead. My beloved, there were moments when you questioned whether the sacrifices were worth it. When you wondered if choosing patience was just delaying happiness. But patience is not delay. When it is aligned, it is preparation. And you were preparing without realizing it. I am proud of you for learning how to be alone without feeling abandoned. For discovering that solitude can restore instead of isolate. For realizing that being selective is not rejection, it is self-respect. Those lessons changed how you relate to the world. My beloved, you also learned how to let go without turning bitter. You released expectations that were never fulfilled. You stopped waiting for people to become versions of themselves they were not ready to be. You allowed disappointment without letting it poison your heart. That restraint preserved your softness. I am proud of you for protecting your heart without closing it, for remaining kind without being naive, for staying open, without being unguarded. That balance is rare, my beloved. You may still feel moments of insecurity, moments where old doubts resurface. That does not erase your growth. Healing does not remove memory. It changes your relationship with it, and your relationship with doubt is different now. You no longer obey it. I am proud of you for learning how to recover, not just physically, emotionally. You no longer spiral the way you once did. You regain balance faster. You choose grounding instead of panic. That resilience will serve you deeply, my beloved. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped shrinking to avoid conflict. You stopped chasing closure from those who could not offer it. These choices were not dramatic, but they were decisive. And decisive moments shaped destiny. I am proud of you for choosing peace, even when peace meant walking alone for a while. For trusting that alignment matters more than approval. For believing that what belongs to you will meet you without force. That belief steadied you. My beloved, you may not yet see the visible rewards, but the invisible foundation is strong now. And when opportunities arrive, you will not panic. You will respond with clarity because clarity lives inside you. Now I am proud of you for learning how to rest without guilt. For understanding that rest is not weakness, is maintenance. For listening when your body asked for care. That respect will sustain you. My beloved, you are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not failing. You are evolving. And evolution takes time. I am proud of you for choosing growth over comfort, truth over convenience, alignment over attachment. These choices are quiet now, but they echo far into the future. You are entering a season where your steadiness will be noticed, not because you demand attention, but because your presence feels grounded. People trust grounded energy. Opportunities move toward it naturally. My beloved, let go of the idea that strength must look dramatic. Your strength looks like consistency, like staying gentle in a world that pressures you to harden. And that strength is enough. I am proud of you for staying true even when no one was watching. That integrity is your foundation and it will not fail you, my beloved. Now I want you to understand why I am proud of you. Not just that I am. Because pride without understanding can feel unreal. But when you see yourself the way I see you, something settles inside your heart. I am proud of you because you learned how to carry responsibility without losing compassion. When life asked more of you, you did not become cruel to survive. You did not harden your heart to cope. You learned how to stay human while becoming stronger. That balance is not taught easily, it is earned. This year showed you how to keep your heart open without letting it bleed endlessly. You learned that love does not require self-sacrifice. That loyalty does not mean self-erasure. That kindness does not mean tolerance of harm. Those realizations were painful, but they were necessary. I watched you stop fighting every battle. Not because you became weak, but because you became wise. You learned that some battles are distractions. Some arguments are traps. Some explanations are wasted energy. Walking away was not surrender. It was clarity. You are beginning to understand the difference between effort and alignment. Earlier you tried to fix everything with effort. You pushed, adjusted, compromised. Now you notice when something flows and when it resists. You no longer blame yourself for resistance that does not belong to you. That discernment is growth. My beloved, I am proud of you for learning how to sit with yourself without escaping. You no longer need constant noise to feel okay. You no longer distract yourself to avoid uncomfortable truths. You allow silence to speak. And silence has taught you more than noise ever could. There were times when you felt disconnected from joy, when laughter felt distant, when lightness felt unfamiliar. That was not because joy left you. It was because joy was making space for depth. Depth lasts longer than excitement, and you were being shaped for something lasting. I watched you learn patience with your own process. You stopped demanding instant clarity. You allowed yourself to grow unevenly. Some days strong, some days tired, some days confident, some days unsure. You did not abandon yourself on the unsure days. That loyalty to yourself is rare. You are also learning how to carry hope without clinging to outcomes. Earlier hope felt fragile. Now it feels steady. It does not depend on timing or guarantees. It lives quietly inside you. That kind of hope cannot be taken away. My beloved, I am proud of you because you did not let disappointment turn into bitterness. That was a choice you made repeatedly. Bitterness would have been easier. It would have justified your pain. But you chose understanding instead. You learned how to forgive without reopening wounds, how to remember without reliving, how to acknowledge pain without identifying with it. These are signs of emotional maturity. They protect you from repeating cycles that once consumed you. I watched you redefine success. You no longer chase it to prove your worth. You want success that feels peaceful, not impressive. Sustainable, not draining. Aligned, not chaotic. This shift will guide your decisions wisely. My beloved, you may still feel moments where you doubt yourself. That does not erase your growth. Doubt is not the enemy. Avoidance is, and you no longer avoid. You face things honestly. That courage will continue to grow. I am proud of you for learning when to rest. You no longer glorify exhaustion. You understand that rest restores clarity. That balance matters. That you cannot pour from an empty place forever. My beloved, there is a dignity growing inside. You quiet unforced. You no longer feel the need to announce your strength. You embody it. People will feel it before you speak. That presence will open doors naturally. You are also learning how to receive. Earlier receiving made you uncomfortable. You felt undeserving. You expected loss. Now you allow good things to exist without fear. This readiness to receive is essential for what comes next. I am proud of you because you stayed true when no one was watching. Because you chose integrity over ease. Because you protected your heart without closing it. Because you grew without becoming cold. This pride is not sentimental. It is earned recognition of your evolution. My beloved, you are not at the end of your journey. You are at the end of becoming ready. The next phase will ask you to live from what you have learned. To move forward with clarity instead of urgency, with confidence instead of fear. And you will do this well because you have already proven that you can endure without losing yourself. My beloved, now let these words settle inside you without resistance. You do not need to earn this pride. You do not need to question it. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. I am proud of you because you became yourself even when it was uncomfortable. There is a moment in every soul's journey when strength stops, looking like endurance and starts looking like wisdom. You have crossed that moment. You no longer prove yourself through suffering. You no longer measure growth by how much you can tolerate. You now recognize when something asks too much of you and you step back without guilt. That is not weakness. That is self-respect finally taking root. My beloved, you are learning how to live without constant self-judgment. You no longer attack yourself for feeling tired. You no longer shame yourself for needing rest. You are beginning to treat yourself with the same patience you once offered freely to everyone else. This kindness toward yourself changes everything because a soul that feels safe within itself can grow without fear. I am proud of you for no longer rushing healing just to appear strong, for allowing softness to return where hardness once protected you, for understanding that healing does not erase the past. It transforms how the past lives inside you. You no longer bleed from old wounds. You remember them without pain. That is healing. I want you to carry this truth gently with you. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not broken. You are becoming steady. And steadiness is what allows good things to last. My beloved, as you move forward, you may notice that people respond to you differently. Not because you demand attention, but because your presence feels grounded. I am proud of you for staying true when it would have been easier to abandon yourself, for holding your values when shortcuts were tempting, for choosing long-term peace over short-term relief. These choices echo far beyond this moment. You do not need to rush into what comes next. You step forward naturally, guided by clarity instead of fear. One honest choice at a time, one aligned step after another. That is enough, my beloved. Let go of the idea that your worth must be proven through struggle. You have already proven your resilience. Now you are allowed to live. Live with intention. Live with balance. Live with trust. I am proud of you not just for surviving but for becoming wiser through survival. For letting pain teach you without letting it harden you. For allowing growth without losing your heart. That is true strength. Carry this pride with you not as pressure but as reassurance. A reminder that you are seen. That your effort mattered. That your journey is honored. And whenever doubt returns, as it sometimes will, remember this moment. Remember that you did not come this far by accident. Remember that you were shaped for what comes next. Remember that I am proud of you always. I love you, my beloved child. Thanks for watching Krishna Says. Subscribe for more.